Hey guys, ECRG here, back with another episode. It feels so good to be back. It feels so good to be back, guys. I was recently on PTO vacation for the past 4 or 5 days. That's why I have not been uploading as much for the past 4 or 5 days, if you noticed that. Who knows, by the time you're listening to this, maybe I've uploaded a few videos in between there that were recorded a little bit earlier. But, wow. Man, I talk a lot on this channel about the importance of taking PTO, and I definitely feel a renewed vigor when coming back to work. And that was much needed because I hadn't taken a single day off, maybe like 8 months or so. So definitely make sure that you guys are using your PTO. A lot of companies are use it or lose it. So make sure you use all of it. Hopefully if the culture coincides with that. But typically, I've noticed in pharmaceuticals and clinical research, the cultures tend to be a little bit better because they've been making money for so long. When you're in a startup world or something and they don't know when the next paycheck is coming or if it's all going to go to zero, I think the benefits tend to be a little bit different and the culture tends to be a little bit different because they're playing scared almost because it could all go to zero or they could be outflanked by a competitor or something like that. But the pharmaceutical companies, they've been in business a long time and have been making billions and billions of dollars. So you can tell the culture is a little bit different. It's a little bit more relaxed, I feel. So comment down below if you agree or disagree with that. But today's video is about the problem with staying at your job for too long. We've talked a lot about money and how if you stay at your job for too long, you're not going to get those pay raises. You're not going to be paid commensurate with your market value most of the time. And we've talked about that, so I'm not going to belabor that point here. But just know, if you stay at your company for a long time, you're not going to be paid what you should be paid. We've also talked about the skill set. If you're at your company for a long time, you know your job really well, but you only know your job when it pertains to that company. You only know your role there. You know that really well, like the back of your hand. But you're limiting yourself in terms of skills and growth. So in the clinical research industry, I recommend stay at your job for a max of 2 years, but a definite hard max at 3 years. By 3 years, you need to be out of there. That of course depends on if you're really happy. If you're just genuinely happy and don't want to move, then that is what it is. But if you're not happy with your money, you're not happy with your progression, 2 years, 3 years, hard max. You get out of there. So we talked about your skill set, the money, and all those things. But what is something else? What's another problem that could happen when you stay at your job too long? And this is more from the company and the executives level that they would think about this and they might not even be realizing. But when someone's been at a company for like 8 years, 10 years or better, even probably around 5 or 6 years in the clinical research industry, because people tend not to even stay that long. But there becomes this entitlement. They start walking around like they own the place. Really, guys, they start walking around like they own the place because they're like a dinosaur in there. They've been in there forever. And that's not very common. So, of course, they're like, man, I'm the only, old person in here. I'm the only person that's been around for a while. I've seen many iterations of this company. And that can be good because they know how to do their job really well. But the downside is they could be scary for other people coming in there. This industry has so much turnover after turnover. And when you see that one person, and I know companies that often will let this person go because they may have too much influence. They may be bringing negativity to other people. They might not be bringing that positivity to the workforce and those new people coming in as you would have hoped. So I have seen a number of times where this person is let go. The dinosaur, I'm going to call him the dinosaur. The dinosaur is let go because they want some new energy in there. That person tends to have a lot of sway because they've been there a long time. They know how things work. They typically know the higher ups. They're pretty much, just set in stone there, and nothing's pretty much going to happen to them unless they get fired, of course. And I think this is something to think about because, like I said before, they have a huge impact on the culture and everyone underneath them and around them that, it could be bad for the company's growth. And, oftentimes people get lazy. When you've been doing the same thing for a long time, it becomes less challenging, and you might be able to get away with more things when you know the right people. When you've been doing that work a long time. So that's just something to keep in mind at why it's good to leave your job, even if you're complacent, if you're if you're content with what you're doing. Sometimes it's good to just shake things up, not only from the executive level when they're trying to create a different culture, but also from an individual level. It's good to shake things up, guys. So I just wanted to reiterate that. Feels so good to be back to our regularly scheduled videos. Hope you enjoyed this. Take care, guys.